Cradle Beach is a summer residential camp. We are kind of unique and special because we mainstream a population of special needs children with children who come from economic disadvantages. And some of them can forget about maybe some of their medical conditions and can come here and just for 10 days be a kid.
We have some kids that are in wheelchairs, some kids that are not in wheelchairs, some kids who have no disabilities, with kids that do have a disability. And for many of these kids, this is the only place that they'll cross paths with kids of different abilities. And by the end of the 10 days, they're like their best buddies. Cradle Beach began in 1888. It started out as what was called the Fresh Air Mission Camp. And kids would come out really just to get out of the city and come out to the country. And then in the 1950s, we joined up with another group called Buffalo Rotary. And the two of them actually joined up, and that's what created Cradle Beach. And the name Cradle Beach comes from where the roads meet together, where our campsite is Cradle and Beach Road.
Our mission is education and training in a recreational setting.
The needs of our special needs children are social needs, independence, some vocational needs, and for some of our kids who are just very, very low functioning special needs children, their needs are really strictly just to have fun. The other population are low income children. Their needs are summer enrichment to prevent kids from falling behind academically over the summer. Research has shown the #1 reason why low income children don't graduate from high school is because of a lack of summer learning opportunities that they receive during their elementary years.
One of the biggest things about camp is that it's a place where kids can come to be completely themselves. There are kids who come, and for some it's a reprieve or a relief from living in the tough streets of Buffalo. This is a place where they don't have to worry about walking outside, and they don't have to worry about what's going to happen to them. They can run and play and have fun.
I love Cradle Beach because I didn't know it was going to be that big, and it was fun. I got away from home, and I never been to camp before.
A lot of our activities, and we call them playstations, are all aligned with the New York State Standards for Education. We also are aligned with the 40 developmental assets. The kids actually do a lot of hands-on experiential learning, but at the same time, they're having a whole lot of fun. They don't know that we've got a lot of this interjection of learning skills, like in our culinary arts program. They're actually learning hygiene techniques, they're learning cooking techniques, measuring, reading directions, reading a recipe. All of our playstations have a set lesson plan, if you will, that the counselors follow.
They will do some science stuff, and they get to pick which things they want to be in. Like if they have swim class in school, well, they have swim lessons at Cradle Beach. And it's fantastic because it gives them confidence in the pool that carries over to school.
We went swimming 3 times, in the morning, evening, and in the afternoon. It was scary, but then they put like floaties on it so we could balance, and then they took it off and I just started swimming.
They'll do arts and crafts, and they'll make stuff, and that gives them the confidence when they get to art class in school. And the nature stuff carries over to the science. So the crossover is more than people realize.
I came as a camper back in 2005. I came back years later, 2 summers ago actually, as a counselor. As a camper, my counselors were role models. They were like, the world at the time that I was here. And transitioning to a counselor, having that type of experience and knowing what it feels like, it's motivation for me to say, I want to give these kids the same experience when they come here because it was life-changing. I would love to see another group of kids and become a role model for them as my counselors were for me when I was younger.
I found out about Cradle Beach because my 4 children, all being on the autism spectrum, I would try and put them in different activities. And what would end up happening is after 1 session or maybe 2, they would tell us in one way or another, we're really sorry, but we can't accommodate your kids. A few of the other teachers said, well, have you tried Cradle Beach? So I called and they sent me the applications. I filled them out, sent them back, and they said that Anthony and Alex are accepted.
I like Cradle Beach because it's got the beach, the pool, like 2 different playgrounds. Yeah, we got to sleep under the stars. We got all our sleeping bags, we put them out on a mat. Like once when I was at Cradle Beach, I saw a shooting star.
And then the week ended and we're driving back. And I remember walking down the road up to Jim Kelly house to get them. And we went up and the boys said, this place is incredible, I love this place. And the counselors came up and they said they were fantastic.
I love Cradle Beach because you get to meet a lot of new people and the counselors there are very nice.
We met lots of good people.
I remember looking at my husband wanting to cry. And it's so funny because as they were saying that, I looked at my husband kind of like looking around like, oh, they're talking to us about our kids. I mean, that was a turning point for us. We found a place where we went to pick them up and there was no, oh, I'm sorry, we can't accommodate your kids here. It was the reverse. We took them with open arms. They had a great time. We can't wait to see them next year. And they said, we can't wait to come back next year. And we were thrilled.
The first summer that we had the treehouse in place and being used by kids, one of our kids was an older camper. He uses a wheelchair daily, and I think seeing him be able to go up to the treehouse and just be up in the treehouse and on the balcony looking over the lake, and just how happy that made him to have that experience that he had never had before in his life was probably one of the most touching moments that I've had here at camp.
I remember my first time actually, tearing as my campers left. And that had to be the most touching experience.
There are people that say 10 days can't make a difference in a person's life, and I beg to differ. Yes, it can, because I hear those stories time and time again. And to me, those are always just great moments. And I like to say small miracles happen here every day.
I love Cradle Beach because I like how the sun sets.